Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone. Peace and sanitation to all the brothers and sisters in the truth instead of coming in. Shalom. Alright, Shalom. Today's lesson will be let's trim our lights in faith and truth. I would like to start off in the book of Matthew, the 25th chapter, and the first verse, and it reads, Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, and these 10 virgins represents the brothers that comes into the faith, and get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It say which took the lamps, and the lamps are symbolic for this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It say and went forth to meet the bridegroom, and the bridegroom is Yahweh Shah. Now, from there, I'm gonna jump to Jeremiah, the sixth chapter and the second verse, and it reads, "I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman." Now, that's talking about Israel. That's talking about the men of Israel being married to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemel Shah. Now, in the same chapter, or in the same book, a couple chapters over, Jeremiah 3 and 14, and it reads, "Turn, O back." It's like, "Turn, O backsliding children, saint the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shemel Shah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion." Now, we are married unto Yahweh Shemel Shah. We married by the law, joined by the law of Israel. So we are in that time. We are in that time where the elect is being gathered and joined together with Yahweh Shah. And to further prove that, this is the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, and the 7th verse, and it says, "Let us be glad and rejoice and give honors to him." Who is to him? Yahweh Shah. "For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife," and who is the wife? We are the wives. It say, "had made herself ready." And how do we make ourselves ready? By getting this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, by getting the oil, and following the right paths, and walking in the old paths, the old ways that Yahweh Shemel Shah has set up for us. Because we joined to the Lamb, and we are involved in the marriage. We are about to meet Yahweh Shah. Not like we are almost about to meet Yahweh Shah, man. Once Yahweh Shah knocks at that door, it's time. So right now we're in a time of trimming our lamps and making ourselves beautiful in this, like, for the sight of Yahweh Shemel Shah. We want to look beautiful in his eyes. First Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, and starting at the 14th verse. And it reads, "For if we believe that Yahweh Shah died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahweh Shah will power bring with him." And that's one of the first and foremost things that you have to understand. You have to have total 100% belief that Yahweh Shah died and rose and rose up. You know, if you don't believe that, then you're not gonna get this wisdom to understand. You're not gonna get the understanding of the scriptures. It say, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of power, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. And ultimately, the dead is going to rise first. rise first. This is the coming up. Like this is the coming up from soon when Yahushua come back and destroy and gather his elect. The first ones who die in the truth, gonna be the first ones who get risen up first, and then the ones that are on earth gonna get caught up with them that are in heaven in the new kingdom to come. And for the edification, it's saying the same thing in Isaiah 31:5. The Most High gonna send Yahushua to destroy and deliver his elect. So it's no different. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, which are the chariots, to meet the Heavenly Father in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. And say, wherefore comfort one another with these words. And these words are to comfort us, man. These words are to comfort us. Because we are going to be in power. This is Isaiah the 14th chapter and the first 2 verses, and it reads, for the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shema Shah will have mercy on Jacob, which is who? Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel say, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, which is what? The land of Canaan, the land of milk and honey, which is what? Israel. And the strangers, which are the Israelite foreigners, the ones that's coming back to this wilderness understanding, say, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, which means they're gonna get built back up by us with the true understanding. It say, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And who we're gonna take? We're gonna take these other nations, starting with the Edomites, and we're gonna bring them to their places, which is what? Captivity, slavery, being under subjection. It say, and the house of Israel shall possess them. When you possess something, you are in ownership of something. It say, possess them in the land of the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shema Shah for servants and the handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were. And just like they had us captives over here, we're gonna have them captives. They go into slavery. It say, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And who is our main oppressor? Esau, Edom. It say, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shema Shah shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. And when is that rest coming? In Jacob's kingdom. It's not in this kingdom. It's going to be in Jacob's kingdom. It say, which is the kingdom to come. It say, and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. And isn't America spiritually known as Egypt? For the bondage that we have been put through. Verse 4 say, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, because America is that Babylon. And say, how had the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. And America is that golden city. And America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, man. Pursuant to Isaiah 66:15. And Yahweh Shah is going to come and destroy this place and destroy all these Edomites, pursuant to Isaiah 63:1 through 3. So there's no getting away, Esau. The same book. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter. Who prepare slaughter? These Edomites and these other nations, for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So that's it's just more fuel to the fire that Esau has to be destroyed. These other nations has to be put back into subjection and captivity. It say, for I will rise up against them, saith the heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemashah of hosts of armies, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemashah. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and will sweep it with the destruction. With the besom of destruction, saith the heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemashah of hosts of armies. So it's gonna be total destruction, man. It's gonna be total destruction. So going back into the book of Matthew, the 25th chapter, and reread number 1, it say, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. So these lamps, it represents the knowledge and the truth that is embedded into our spirit. And I got a precept on that one. Luke the 12th chapter and the 34th verse. And it reads, for where your treasure is, there will your heart also. There will your heart be also. And the word heart is la'ab, which is mind. And what is our treasure? Our treasure is this truth, this knowledge, this understanding, the love of the love of the heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemashah. So wherever our treasure is, that's where our heart is. You know, it say, let your loins be girded about and your light burning. And what light is it talking about? It's talking about that. It's talking about this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, bringing out the truth about what the MOTB, the vaccines, etc. Like different topics, like the fact that Esau say everybody can be saved when that's not scriptural. Like Jake be trying to save everybody, but everybody can't be saved, like that. It say, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for the heavenly Father. Wait on the Lord when He will return from the wedding. That when He cometh and knocketh, and Yahweh Shai is almost at the door, He almost fit the knock. It say they might open unto Him immediately. Immediately, because once Yahweh Shai knock, and the ones that and the ones that are ready to go with Him, that's it. It ain't no more saving after that. If you're not ready, when He come, you're not going to be saved. And that's why the apostles always pushing and pushing, study to show ourselves proof, study to show faith, study to show that you belong in this thing, man. Gotta keep watching the prophecies. Gotta keep praying for faith. Gotta keep praying for understanding. Cause the Most High can take the truth away from you like that, quick, in the quick of a snap. But that's not what you want. So you gotta gird up in the truth, man. Get into the sit downs, into the understanding of the truth and the knowledge, and get into having hope and faith that Yahweh Shemashah will come and save us. Because at the end of the day, that's all we have. Is faith. Verse 37 say, blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when He cometh, shall find watching. Watching what? The prophecies. Watching the times that we are in. Verily I say unto you, that He shall gird Himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. Gotta keep watching the prophecies and praying in faith. Because a lot of people get the understanding, but a lot of people not watching, and a lot of people not praying, and a lot of people not hoping. They still living their life just like they was living before they even found out the truth. Most High sees every fucking thing, man. And if he shall come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. And you want to be a perfect servant, watching all the time, man. All the time. So going back into Matthew's, the 25th chapter, and the second verse, and it reads, it say, and 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. The wise are the only ones that's gonna get this to the full 100% truth. The wise are the ones that are out there week in and week out. The wise are the ones that are doing this, are doing breakdown each and every day. The wise are the ones that are putting 100% they self into this wisdom and understanding. The foolish, they still want to be in the world. They want to be here, want to be there, and still and want to still be a part of the truth. But you can't serve two masters. So the foolish spend a lot of time just wasting time, while the wise is steady into studying, into examining themselves, into going over scriptures, breakdowns with brothers, and being brotherly, and trying to refrain from being carnal. It say, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. And the oil is symbolic for deep understanding, the truth, dark sayings. You know, the oil is fuel for the lamps. And it say, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. And the oil in the vessels, it basically symbolic, but they was always watching. They cared about the business. They took care of the business that Yahweh Shema had left us. Verse 5, it say, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. Now, I want to go into this word slumber. Now, this word slumbered means
Strong's G 3573, Nustazo.
And it means to nod and sleep, to be overcome or oppressed with sleep, to fall asleep, drop off to sleep, to be neglected, negligent, careless of a thing, linger, delay. So it basically means to be careless, to be asleep. So while Yahweh shall tarry, while Yahweh shall prolong, they all fell asleep. It say, and in the midst there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. So much understanding and much wisdom is laid upon our table. The reason why or there's foolish virgins in the first place, because the lack of oil that they have. So there's no understanding in them. Because look what they said. It say, then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. So these foolish, they didn't pack enough oil. They didn't pack enough wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to keep them preoccupied until the bridegroom came. Which is what? Being foolish. Total foolishness. Because we're supposed to dwell in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's like you say in Psalms, the 23rd chapter. This is Psalm 23, and start at the top. It say, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shema Shah, is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pasture. And green pasture is symbolic for this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because anything green is good. It say, he leadeth me beside the still waters. And what is the still waters symbolic for? Just wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Deep understanding. It say, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. For his name's sake. So, this is not of our own will. This is not of our own volition. This is through Yahweh Shema Shah. So, it's just basically plain that through the faith and through the truth we have to come to an understanding of what these scriptures really talking about, and who these scriptures really are for. And it's not for the mass. It's only for the elect of Israel. I'm gonna say it again. These scriptures are only for the elect of Israel. These scriptures are not for everybody to understand. It's not for the mass to get the concept and to get the understanding of the scriptures. It say, yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow and death, which is what? America. America is the valley of the shadow of death. It say, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, thy comfort me. And what is the rod and the staff? This truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It say, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And that's much understanding and wisdom is being laid on our table. The reason why, which is the reason why we have foolish virgins, because they don't have the oil within themselves. Because these jakes they study, but they don't write it down. They don't memorize it. They just study just to get it over with. They don't study to let it soak in. It say, surely surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shema Shah, forever. Which is our main goal, is to be brought back to Yahweh Shema Shah. So going back into Matthew's 25 and 7, and it say, and all the virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. Now, this word trim, it basically goes into the Greek word kosmeo, which means to put in order, arrange, make ready, prepare. So we was preparing ourselves by trimming this light. You are putting in order. You preparing yourself. It say, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be enough for us and you. Because everybody have to work out their own fear and trembling with salvation. Everybody have to examine their own self. Everybody have to like I said, worry about their own salvation. So it say but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourself. And how do you buy this wisdom, not understanding? With time. You can't buy it with money. You gotta spend time. And they was time pressing. So they was already out of time, and they had to go require more time to buy it, to get the wisdom, not understanding, which means when Yahushua was ready, they wasn't ready, which means they got left behind. And this is exactly what's going to happen to a lot of guys. It say, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Which means it wasn't no more. It wasn't no other way in. It won't be no other way in besides this. It say afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. And they required to get in after spending more time in going back to get the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It say, but he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. And that's the main point. So we have to trim our lamps. We are in the time right now of trimming our lamps, man, in faith and in truth. So, Lord willing, this was edified. Until the next one, I say shalom.